This amendment would prohibit drag shows and drag queen story hours at U.S. military bases and installations. This measure is essential to ensure that our military remains focused on core mission. President Biden and his Department of Defense have hosted multiple drag show events as the left continues to push a sexual agenda on service members, showing total disregard for our troops who signed up to protect this country, not to be subjected to far-left policies. It seems the Biden administration and its DOD is more focused on promoting drag queens waving the rainbow flag in a cultural war, preparing them for the cultural battle versus preparing a real fighting force, advancing the red, white, and blue on a real battlefield. This is nothing short of an insult to our troops. It's a mockery to history and those who died fighting for this country.
My Republican colleagues want us to believe that gays are trying to murder us. They want to believe that drag is harmful or immoral or wrong. This is completely ridiculous. Now, I hate to break it to my Republican colleagues, but LGBTQ people have fought and died for this country since the American Revolution, even if they were forced to hide their true selves. We can document and celebrate drag shows on military bases, and they've been celebrated since the 1800s and through both world wars. The USO and Red Cross hosted drag shows during World War II. Real obscenity is when one of our colleagues, the gentlewoman from Georgia, shows literal photos of revenge porn in our oversight committee. So if we want to end porn in government facilities, let's ban that.
What would General Eisenhower, what would General MacArthur say? I believe they would encourage a return to thousands of years of history of societal norms, not the current sexual fad that is in tandem with our armed services not being able to meet their recruitment goals, being down 30% during the Biden administration. Young men who make up the bulk of our fighting forces are inspired by G.I. Joe. They are not inspired by be a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Although the DOD indicated it would stop hosting drag queen events last year, this informal decision lacks the force of law and was only made after significant public backlash. We have every reason to believe the DOD would resume these events tomorrow if they felt they could get away with it. We should codify this and not give them that option.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the LGBTQ families, gay people who serve in our country, and frankly, anyone who just likes to have fun, I rise in strong opposition to this amendment. Now, we know there are a lot of threats to the health and well-being of our service members. Poisoned water on military bases, toxic mold in military housing, PTSD, and suicide. So I'm stunned to see that a top Republican idea to protect our troops is actually to ban drag shows. The army that defeated Hitler and saved the world included drag queens. Ronald Reagan starred in a movie called This Is the Army, a movie about World War II that featured 4 drag performances. And he's not the only Republican president who knew that drag can be fun and sometimes silly. Mr. Speaker, drag is art, drag is culture, and drag is a form of comedy. And drag is not a crime. And it's not pornography. We know that inclusion in our military is good for our country. We want to welcome anyone who wants to serve. And I'd invite my Republican colleagues to join me at a drag show in the future. You'll see that drag is not a threat to anyone. And I'm convinced that some of you would really enjoy it. It's my deep concern that this amendment is legitimizing an extremist narrative that drag performances are somehow harmful or threatening. Drag is art. So, Mr. Speaker, this amendment should sashay away. I receive my time.
Again, this amendment simply codifies what the DOD stated last year, that, quote, holding these type of events in federally funded facilities is not suitable use of DOD resources, end of quote. I would like to remind my colleagues that the language in this amendment passed in last year's NDAA, which almost all Republicans and some Democrats voted for. Americans' tax dollars should not be paying or being used to prop up paying for men to dress up as women in sexualized performances. I take exception to the comment that this is something that was occurring during the greatest generation. What may be referenced is something totally different than something now that is designed to sexualize this culture.
I just want to remind my colleagues that art should be celebrated in this country. There are all forms of art. or whether someone's going to a live theater performance, whether they're seeing something in a gallery, whether they're enjoying a sculpture, whether they're seeing a live music performance, or whether they're seeing a drag show. It is all a form of art. It's also an American art form that has been around our country for hundreds of years and has been on military bases since the USO was performing these similar types of shows. And so I want to reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman is the only member with time remaining. Gentleman from California.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, this amendment is a culture war stunt that does nothing to make our troops safer. It politicizes our military and silences service members who just want to be themselves. It's big government telling our troops they aren't smart enough to decide if they want to attend a particular type of entertainment, and that Congress knows best in what's funny or may not be funny. We should respect drag artists for the talent that they are, for the artists that they are. We should focus on real solutions to make our life better for our troops and for our country. I urge my colleagues to vote no on this amendment, and I yield back.